This is India, a story in the making. And I'm your host, Lavina Tandon. My recent trip to India came after a long gap, thanks to the unpredictable life of a journalist and also COVID. Now, I'm based in London, but I was born in India. I grew up there, I studied, and also started my work life. So, India is first home, and I know how it works. Or so I thought. And it all began with a visit to the cobbler, this whole question mark that you see in my voice. Now, this is usual I do. I go to the cobbler when I go to India. These are the things not available really so readily here at a good price. So a visit to the cobbler, it all began with. And he repaired my juti and he handed over the juti to me, and very diligently I handed over the cash to him. And he pushed a machine forward and said, "Madam, UPI hai?" I said, "No, I don't," apologetically and feeling rather ill-equipped. And because people don't do cash apparently, most of the transactions are cashless through this UPI. And he didn't have a lot of change, so he couldn't return the money that was due to me. And I did not, apparently I could have paid through my credit card or my UK card, but wary of the exchange rate, I just resisted and I didn't do that. And I wished on hindsight that I had, because apparently he didn't have much cash, so he couldn't return my change. And possibly I ended up paying more for the juti because I carried cash. So I think hindsight, with the benefit of the hindsight, I should have paid by my card. But then I had a thought that maybe he duped me. Maybe he did have a cash and he was lying and he just didn't want to return it. So he made this whole bahana, this whole excuse of UPI. So I decided, the journalist in me got very inquisitive, and I decided that I'm going to find this out. So my trip to the roadside vendors began, and I love nariyal pani, and the next vendor, or coconut water as they say, was that of a fresh cart full of fresh coconut water. So I had the coconut water, and again, "Madam, UPI hai, Paytm, Google Pay," and what all many other names that he took. And I had none, and I only had cash. And this is all I heard, and this is all I saw. So there was a little voice in my head which said, "Do you really know India?" And I said, no, this is just one off chance. And I confidently said no. I pushed that aside and I went on wearing my very valuable, expensively repaired juti to my friend's birthday party. Now, to my utter dismay, when I reached there, I realized that I have left my gift, the gift that I had to give her, home. And looking at the traffic, I thought, impossible to go back home in this traffic and get this gift. And there comes my sister. My problem solver most times. So there comes she, and with a grin on her face, she noticed the panic, and with that grin, she just tapped on the phone on some app, and the gift was picked up from my home and delivered in the middle of the night to where I was. And all at the click of a button, all of that digitally, and all of that in the middle of the night. And there came the voice again. "Do you really know India?" This niggling, and the niggling was getting louder. I pushed that voice fiercely to a dark corner of my brain, and I carried on and focused on this wonderful trip to Bandhavgarh that was planned just a day after. Now, on the way to Bandhavgarh, it was very beautiful, and we took a flight and ended up in Jabalpur airport, which is also the city I was born in. And feeling a little mushy and I know all kind of thing, I turned to my children and I said, brace yourself for a rocky and a rough ride through beautiful villages here of India, rather the place that I was born in, and we're going into the interiors in Bandhavgarh. Now, as we took a shortcut, there was absolutely, the ride was roller coaster. We were just doing like this, and our brain told me, see, you know India, India very well. So I very nicely braced myself, turned to my children confidently and said, don't worry, all is going to be well. Very much thinking in my heart, none of this is going to be well. It's not going to be an easy ride, which is 2 or 3 hours in all. And there I was. Suddenly all was well. We were on a smooth road and had a smooth and silky and swift ride to the hotel. And thankfully, the only thing that saved me was these lazing cows on the road. And this is, I must say, a delight for a foreigner. These are the most popular sights, cows on the road. And that saved me. Other than that, everything was swift and smooth and plain ride to the hotel. Now my children looked at me and said, do you really know India? And that look was so upsetting for me. And that's when a little doubt niggled into my brain, creeping in and saying, do you really know India that well? Well, nonetheless, I said, come on, let's get on to Bandhavgarh. And Bandhavgarh was just so amazing. We got to see a tiger up close and personal. My heart skipped a beat, and I fiercely prayed that the tiger should not sight me, this utterly confused Deshi from Videsh, and have me for his delightful dinner. Well, the tiger spared me, but my confidence didn't. Because just 2 or 3 days after that, after we had returned, my sister had to go abroad, and she forgot that her son's passport was not updated. And so she swiftly applied in the Tatkal service, or the emergency service, to the passport office, and within 48 hours the passport arrived. And this was without pulling any strings and without paying any bribe. And that's when I resigned to the fact that possibly I do not know the change that has happened in India, and I have not kept up with the change that's happened in India. And also I thought, has the world kept up with this change? Now, we know that the World Bank has called India a global player. Morgan Stanley's report on India is very bullish. They say that it's going to be the third largest economy. And Goldman Sachs has said that it's going to be the largest economy by 2075. And it has also been said that by 2050, India will be 30% larger in terms of its purchasing power as compared to the US. And it's going to even leave or overtake China, despite the fact that China is larger, 5 times larger an economy than India as of now. So all of this has been said, but in the same breath, there have been question marks that have been put against all of these projections. Thus began the journey of India, a story in the making. Now, the India story has definitely captivated the minds and imaginations of the world. But in India, a story in the making, I want to find out how and why. So my guest next week is someone who has been working in the investment market for the past 25 years. And as a part of his job, he studies deeply the emerging markets. Therefore, he has studied India and China and all the other markets. So I want to ask him, and I want to find from him, how do these projections play out for him, and what is his story? So that is really what I want to find out. Now, who he is, you can only find out after you see the next episode. So please come and join us in the next episode on a journey that I want to take with talking to different people from different sectors and different nationalities about how they are looking at India. Now, please join me in this journey, and you can watch every Sunday. We'll come up with a new episode, you can see the video of that on my YouTube channel, Lavina Tanton, or you can find the podcast, the audio format, on Apple, Spotify, Binge Pods, or wherever else you listen your podcast from. And it's going to be exquisitely wonderful if you can actually subscribe to my channel and also to the podcast India, a Story in the Making. Remember, India, a Story in the Making, on Apple or BingePod or Spotify or wherever else, as I said, you get your podcast from. So let's brace and take on this journey of change in India and how the world is looking at it. Thank you. Take care and God bless.